Awesome. Alrighty, so finding yourself situated on your carpet at home, and then taking either your couch pillow if you have a small couch pillow or a folded blanket, so that way it gives you an inch or two. You can slide that under you and then set your bottom up on that item. So you just have some room, and then kind of scoot to the very edge of it. And you can reach back and pull the flesh up and out. So this will allow you to sit more on the insides of the pelvic floor versus I know in our Western culture, we're fairly used to sitting right on our tailbone. So we're just going to try something different. Let's go. Wonderful. Let's do grid view. Okay. So remember, if you have any questions at any point, you can just unmute yourself and ask. So as you're settling into your seat, you might take a moment and bring one hand to the heart and one hand to the abdomen. We're going to start by taking 3 deep, full breaths, taking in a deep inhale and a slow exhale. Do 2 more just like that. It would feel good for you to allow your eyes to close. You're welcome to do that. So our theme for our practice tonight is, what is the current state of your heart? Knowing that these are unprecedented times that change from week to week, day to day, and moment to moment. It's giving us the opportunity to live in this present moment and be present in each moment. You can ask yourself, what is the current state of your heart? Just feel free to contemplate that as you breathe deeply into the heart space. If it helps you to leave the hands here on your heart, you can, dropping the awareness down into it. Or if the arms are tired, you can let them rest down on your lap. Just continue breathing into the heart space. What is the current state of your heart in this moment? Now I'll invite you to, just for this time and for this practice, to let go of any worry, to let go of any stress and tension. We're going to begin to invite the body to relax. Begin to invite the awareness to the breath, just with a simple curiosity, without judgments of good or bad, right or wrong, but with simple and honest awareness. Just notice the breath flowing in and out of the body. And checking in with the sits bones all the way down to the soles of the feet. Making any adjustments that you need to here in your seat, whatever that might look like for you to be fully comfortable. Bring awareness to the torso, the abdomen, all the way to the shoulders and down to the fingertips. Make any adjustments there that you might need. And then bringing awareness to the head, and especially notice how it's sitting on the shoulders. Notice if you have a tendency for the head to be leaning back or forwards, and instead invite it to find a nice natural curve, the base of the neck, all the way up to where the neck meets the skull. Come into a place where the head feels very light. So it's resting or floating above the body, above the shoulders. Take one more deep breath here in your seat. Begin to invite movement to the head as you exhale. Draw the chin down towards the chest. Breathe into the back of the neck, top of the shoulders. Breathing in deeply. As you inhale, draw a line up, or draw the gaze up towards the sky, towards your ceiling, whatever is above you, and get a stretch in the front of the throat. If there's jaw tension here, or if you ever do any talking, open the mouth as wide as you can, and then purse the lips as if you're howling at the moon. And as you exhale once more, draw the chin towards the chest. Very gently, very slowly, we're going to begin moving the head side to side while the chin is still down towards the chest. We're finding some half neck circles here. If you'd like, you can continue on in full neck circles. Being sure to mind the speed, keeping this nice and slow. And if you find any extra areas or areas that need extra stretch, you can pause in that place, giving it what it needs. And after one or two circles in that direction, be sure to change the direction of these circles. And bringing the head back through center, chin once more parallel to the floor. Again, finding that place where the neck can come into its natural curvature. And begin bringing movement in through the shoulders. So you can roll them both together or one at a time. A few times forwards. And then a few times backwards. Awesome, and coming back through center, let's inhale, reach the hands up and overhead. And as we exhale, we're gonna drop the right hand down, reach up, up, up with fingertips and reach over, getting a nice side stretch through the body. Take a deep breath. And your next inhale, come back up through center. As you exhale, drop the opposite hand down, reach fingertips up, 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 and then over for a nice deep side stretch. Take a deep breath. As you inhale, coming back up through center. Nice. So from here, we're just kind of lazily find movement, but let the arms float down, cascade down, really with no rhyme or reason, just finding free movement. Wonderful. So do any final movements here in this seated posture that you might need. But know that you're welcome to actually stay in your seat, or know that our next movements you can do from a tabletop position. So finding a blanket, maybe to pad the knees with, or if you don't have a blanket, you can simply fold up the back of your mat. And finding a place where the fingers are spread wide if you're coming to tabletop and the knees are just beneath the hips. And we're going to begin moving through cat-cow. And again, if you're seated, you can do this pose just as you're seated. For cat, you're going to reach the spine up, looking back towards the navel, reaching up, up, up through the spine. As you exhale, lead with the tailbone, draw that up. Draw the gaze up as well. This will bring you into your cow pose. This drops and stretches the abdomen. Then we're just going to float between these two postures here, going from cat to cow, moving at your own pace. Again, releasing judgments. There's no right or wrong here. We're just finding the movement that works for us. Find about 3 more rounds or 3 more sets of flowing between your cat-cow. On this last set, just take a moment and pause in each pose and take a full breath. Perhaps first in your cow, and then flow to your cat, taking a full inhale and exhale in the pose. Nice. And then we'll sit back or remain in our seated position, and we're just going to roll the wrists out. I always call wrists ankles. We're going to roll the wrists out a few times. And if you want to do the little added yoga for the toes, you just curl the toes under and kind of sit back. And you can do that. You can do a lot or a little. Nice. Wonderful. And when that feels complete, you can get set up. Well, I'll actually show you. You can release the yoga for the toes if you're there. Take any final stretches here, kind of in our warm-up movement that you might need. An overhead stretch, a back bend, or a seated twist. All of those are good. Just listen to what the body is asking for. But I'll go ahead and touch a little bit on how the next few postures are going to be. So we'll move into more restorative poses, where we'll be setting up and holding the poses for about 3 to 5 minutes. But we're going to be very supported with our props, which is why we have maybe a big pillow and then maybe a couple of extra pillows to support us, that blanket, just any props that we're going to need to be extra comfortable here. So take your time. If you still need to go grab something, you can do that. But our first pose, we're going to come back to a seat. What we do, we might want to turn long on the mat, turn long ways on the mat so that our heels are supported here. So I'm going to show you 2 options you can do with the legs. So we're going to come into a wide-legged, supported forward fold, and we're going to use as many props as we can. We might have to, stack and fold pillows, get our arms over them, and then we're going to find a place where our forehead is also comfortably supported. So let me demo this first, and then we'll move into it. So it looks something like this. The chin can be supported. If you have glasses on, you'll take those off and you can just support the forehead, but make sure you can breathe. Lots of options. And you should feel a nice stretch on the inside of the legs. But if that feels not right for your body today. And I give you full permission to listen completely to your body. This is your practice, and I'm merely your guide. So if that would not feel good to hold for just a couple of minutes, then you can always just kind of pick your props up, bring the legs together, and set your props back and just do a legs together forward fold. But as you're ready, settling in, connect deeply with the breath. Taking a couple of deep breaths to settle in. You can also stack your forearms and let your forehead rest on that if need be. But really taking your time to set up for the right forward fold that works for you. And just breathing deeply into that space. Now I invite you to close your eyes as you're coming into that pose. Reconnect with that heart space, just like we did at the beginning of class. And we're simply inviting awareness to notice what you notice about the current state of your heart in this moment. Continue breathing into the heart space. Just invite it to relax. Breathe into the back of the body, the base of the spine, the mid-back and the rib cage, the upper back and the shoulders. And finally, the neck and the head. Inviting all of that to relax. You might notice that you've been breathing and relaxing into the pose, into the heart space. You might be able to go just a little deeper in this fold if it speaks to you. We're going to connect with 3 more full and deep breaths right here, right now. If you are in that forward fold, on your next breath in, just slowly lifting the head, letting the upper back, the mid back just slowly come into place. And I know we have the strength in our legs to pull them back together, but instead take one hand and place it under the thigh, but right at the back of the knee, but on the thigh, and begin just to help it back in. And then do the same on the other side. So underneath of the thigh, but near the knee, and then pulling that back in. And then a wonderful counter for this, if your legs were outstretched, is to bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees open, or even if they weren't outstretched. And interlace the fingers, press the palms forward and then up. Just finding a little bit of a back bend, but mostly an upward stretch here. Take a deep breath. Relax the shoulders away from the ears and release the fingertips. And just press energy out the palms. You press through the hands, lowering them down back to the earth. We'll roll the shoulders out a few times here. Wonderful. So for our next restorative pose, we are going to find our blanket again, if we need that to pad our bottom. And then we're going to find our stack of pillows. And we're going to have a couple of options here. So if you're familiar with a reclining goddess pose where the legs are outstretched and it would feel nice for you to just lay over a pillow that's flat on your mat, if you've done that before, I'll encourage you to go ahead and set up for that. But if you'd like, you can also take one of your extra pillows, hopefully you have at least two, and slide it at the back of your mat. And I'm sorry I didn't say this, but we're going to fold it over at least once and slide it at the back of your mat. Or if you have like a smaller couch pillow, that'll work. And then take another pillow, hopefully you have a kind of a big sturdier one, and let that kind of sit at an incline. Does everyone see the incline that I've made here? Yeah, you guys look great. So watch me here for just another moment, and then you can make your way into this pose. So what I'm doing is I'm going to hold on to the base of my incline that I've created, and I'm going to begin to lay back into a nice, comfortable recline. And I do want to make sure that my neck and head are supported or comfortable, and then I can stretch my legs out long. I'm going to rest one hand on the heart space and one hand on the abdomen as I relax here. If you want a little more of a heart opener, you can let the arms open out to the side. So either of those arm options is for you. So take your time setting up. If you have any questions at all, remember that you can unmute yourself and ask those.
What if I don't have a bunch of pillows? I just got 2 blocks and a flat pillow.
Yeah, what you have set up looks perfect. You're just finding a comfortable support for your spine. So any amount of cushion.
So the neck just needs to be elevated a little bit more than the upper back?
Yeah,
okay.
So the heart space is above the abdomen is really what we're going for here. It creates a deep sense of calm. Cool. Great question. And sometimes it does take a couple of minutes to get it just right. And John, if you want, there is an option to do a supported fish pose if you prefer that over the incline. So have you set up for supported fish before? I can't hear you. No? Okay. So if you're in your recline pose already, that's fine. Just take your time to rest your hands wherever is comfortable and connect with the breath. So, John, if you are setting up for supported fish pose, you're going to set one block under your heart space, and you're going to set another block under your head. So you won't use your pillow at all. The blocks are a little bit closer together than you might actually think. I usually say it's about close to a hand's width distance between them. And then you just kind of carefully come back onto the elbow, and then the other elbow. And then you just want to make sure that first block is hitting you under the heart space, like truly under the heart space, and under where the shoulder blades kind of come together. And then opening the arms out wide, again, will give you more of a stretch in the shoulders and in that chest space and that heart space. Or you can rest one hand on the heart space and one hand on the abdomen. So the idea here is just to make sure that you are completely comfortable in this space, knowing that you're completely supported. Once more, connecting with that heart space. And if you have a hand resting on the heart space, or even if you don't have a hand resting on the heart space, with the eyes closed, see if you can tune in to the heartbeat. This is your rhythm. This is your drum that is always beating to your tune. Can you feel it? With each beat of the heart, like a tiny drop of water in a crystal clear lake that sends out ripples throughout the entire body of water. Imagine that each beat of the heart sends out ripples of relaxation through your entire body, expanding in all directions, rippling down the arms, through the rib cage and the back, over the abdomen, all the way down the legs to the tip of the toes. From the center of the heart, moving up and over the face and out the crown of the head. While staying fully awake and fully aware, notice the current state of your heart. Just noticing what is, without judgments of right or wrong. If the mind wanders, which is its nature, gently guide it back to the beat of the heart. Connecting with 3 more deep, full breaths right here in this pose. Breathing into that heart space. And as you come to your 4th breath, I'll invite you to simply make your way onto your side, if that's comfortable for you. And just let one arm rest perhaps under your head, and the knees or the legs to be stacked. And then we'll take a pause there for a few moments. And even as you come into this supported pose on your side, and you can absolutely use a block or a pillow under the head, but notice if there's anywhere in the body that's continuing to hold tension. Even though you're fully supported here on the floor. And I invite you to relax that tension out of the body. Give it room to rest. Take those 3 more deep breaths here on your side. And with that top arm, the one that's not resting on the floor or resting under the head. So with that other arm, that free arm, plant it down beside the heart space on the floor. And as you press yourself up, imagine that you're leading from the rib cage. So the ribs will be the first thing to rise. You slowly lift yourself back up. This is kind of a new way than that's normal of coming up. Yeah, and just feel that stretch through the side of the body even as you rise. And any free form movements that would feel good, maybe stretching through that other arm. Just invite yourself to find that movement. There's no right or wrong here. You might even stretch through one leg or the other. And the only reason that we rose back up is to set our props and get any additional stretch that we need, but to set our props off to the side so that way we can come right back down to where we were in that same side pose. So, and the way we're going to do that is lower back down by stretching that arm out, getting a stretch through the armpit as we relax back in the same pose that we were just in. And then keeping the legs where they are, but making sure they're comfortable where they are. We're going to take that free arm, that one that's up towards the sky, and we're just going to open it up And then allow it to guide us to open up the heart space and get a nice supine twist. So the legs stay, or the knees stay pointing in the direction they were. And all we're doing is opening up through the chest, through the torso, opening that up towards the sky. Beautiful. And if you need to bend bend at the elbow because maybe there's not as much space to stretch out, or if you need to reach that arm overhead but still allow it to relax on the floor, just find whatever would feel good here. But you'll notice this stretch, stretching from one hip all the way across the body, across the chest, to the shoulder and out the fingertips, as well as through one of the shoulders, through the back of one of the shoulders, I should say. And just taking several breaths here, breathing into the heart space, breathing into the entire body. As you do breathe in, notice where you feel the breath. Where does it go? What parts of the body expand? This might be a totally new way of relating to the breath. No, again, there's no right or wrong. Just give yourself permission to explore. Finding 3 more breaths right here, right now. When you come to that 4th breath, know that how we're going to move is actually from the knees. So we're going to begin bringing the knees to point up towards the sky, leaving the feet planted on the earth, and just coming onto the back. And we'll hug the knees in towards the chest and rock side to side on that low back. Make a few circles with the knees if that would feel good, just guiding them in circles with the hands. And then when you're ready, you can plant the feet back on the earth. We're going to do the exact same side stretch on the opposite side. So first we're going to completely come onto that opposite side. Whereas if you're watching me, I'm going to do the same side just so you can see me. But make your way completely onto that side. So again, you're resting with one arm underneath of your head. The shoulders are stacked, so we're not opened yet. We're completely on that side. Kind of, I guess this is the fetal position. You're kind of in that, but a more relaxed and open fetal position. We're just going to take 3 breaths here, doing a check-in with the current state of our heart What is the current state of your heart? And then leaving the knees exactly where they are, then you'll begin to stretch up through that top arm, reaching it up towards the sky. And then as you're ready, open up, lowering that arm to the floor behind you, to the side of you, helping you to find a nice deep twist for the spine while keeping the knees and the legs relaxed down on the floor. Again, if you need to bend the elbow because maybe there's not as much space, that's fine. But see if you can't allow the shoulders and the arms to stay resting on the earth. Notice if the mind has wandered. Just gently guide it back to that heart space. Guide it back to the breath. And I'll invite you to connect with 3 more full breaths here in this supine twist. Breathing fully into the heart space. As you come to your fourth breath, begin to make your way back completely onto your side. So lying with the shoulders stacked. Just pause there, noticing the state of your heart. And then it's totally up to you. And know the next place we'll be going is into Shavasana, or final relaxation. So you can stay, if you can see me, you're welcome to stay right there on your side while you watch me set up, and then I'll invite you to do the same. But our last pose is final relaxation, or Shavasana. It looks a little bit like nap time when we were all in kindergarten. If you had nap time in kindergarten, hopefully you did. But generally I set up, and this is for my own personal Shavasana, so you can set up however you want. But I like to set up with a nice thick pillow or bolster for underneath of my knees. And if I don't have an extra thick pillow, then I might use 2 or even 3 pillows. If there's a support for under the feet, like an additional pillow or blanket, that is highly recommended. And then finally, I like to cover up with a blanket, but that's just because I'm cold-natured. So you can set up however is comfortable for you. For some people like to use no props at all, and that's perfectly fine as well. But all we're doing is setting ourselves up. When we do place something like extra pillows or bolster underneath of the knees, what we're doing is supporting the low back, supporting that lumbar spine when we have the knees propped up. And this is also something that you can do while you're sleeping, which sometimes I do, and I wake up and my back is very happy. But take your time settling in. We're going to have an extended Shavasana. So setting yourself up for complete comfort and relaxation. As you're settling in, you might kind of lift up the one shoulder and then the other, creating some space. Begin breathing deeply. Taking a deep inhale. Sigh the breath out the mouth. 2 more breaths just like that. I invite you to relax all the way down from the hips to the soles of the feet. Relax the entire torso from the top of the chest to the base of the abdomen. Relax the arms from the top of the shoulders down to the tips of the fingers. Relax the entire head from the crown all the way down through the neck to the collarbones. Relax the entire front of the body. Relax the entire back of the body. Relax the entire body. Relax the mind. I will let you know when it is time to wake back up from final relaxation. Gently, gently, gently begin to deepen the breath. Inviting small movements back to fingers and toes. Reawakening slowly, gradually. And even inviting in larger movements of rolling wrists or ankles. A full body stretch of reaching the hands overhead and pointing through the toes. Can feel nice. And hugging the knees in towards the chest. And making your way once more completely onto one side or the other, just like we've been doing. As you pause here, noticing the current state of your heart in this moment. And we ground in gratitude for ourselves for showing up on the mat, whether this is our first time or our 100th, millionth time on the mat. And we ground in gratitude, sending that out into the world. When you're ready, again, taking that free hand, the one that's closest to the sky, planting that hand and leading with the rib cage, helping yourself rise back up. Coming to a seated position. Again, if you need to slide a blanket or pillow underneath of your bottom, we're going to bring our hands to heart center. We're going to take one deep and cleansing breath together. I see you, I feel you, and I am you. The highest in me honors and sees the highest in you. Namaste. Thank you all so, so very much. I will hold space probably for about 10 or 15 more minutes. If anyone wants to discuss the state of their heart, we can do a little sharing circle, but you don't have to. And I will say thank you to everyone who has donated and for attending. And I will be hosting this class every Tuesday virtually as we move through this unprecedented time together. So thank you all so much. Again, I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes. If you'd like to unmute yourself and share or just share about the practice, you're more than invited, or ask questions. That's always an option to you as well. Or you can reach me privately through my Facebook. But thank you all so, so much.
Ethan, that was awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for being on the Skype. This is new to me as well, so I'm still learning. So I wanted to do it last week, but I had a little hiccup with technology, but I got it figured out for this week. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
We should totally send this to Mr. Andy Brashear.
Maybe I should. Here you go,
You
Mr.
really
Brashear. You've been working really hard. You deserve to relax.
Yeah, we get him on a call, or just like, heck, I mean, this is like, you could get a lot more people, help a lot more people, and that would help your outreach, I think. I
Yeah.
think that would be good to send that on there since it's recorded.
Yeah, that's cool. Is there like how would you recommend I do that? I was just gonna send it to him an email or something.
Well, yeah, actually, you can email his office, or you can do that and drop it on the Andy Brashear page, like his own Facebook page. There's a meme page for him.
Okay.
Yeah. So like people make an Andy Brashear memes anyway. A lot of people have been doing stuff like that, and that's been on there. But sending stuff directly to like the governor's webpage or something, I think is probably the best route.
Okay, cool.
Email.
Yeah, that's
Like,
a great
hey,
option.
we want more people to join in. Be healthy at home. Hashtag.
That's a great idea. And you know what? I hope that he is doing something to relax. He's been doing a wonderful job of I know our state is a little better off than others because we've taken the initiative to quarantine. So that's kind of awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Thanks for being on the call. Did you want to? Was there anything else you wanted to share? I appreciate the feedback. It's so helpful.
No, only other thing is that like when I did my jaw, like this whole side of my neck lit up and hurt real bad. I had to stop and go get some salve.
Oh yeah.
Like, it cramped out. I don't
So
know if that's the noise or if just because I'm laying around a lot and I've been stretching.
yeah, I saw a video on Yoga Journal actually about a lymph node release, and I did that lymph node release massage at my path, and it made a huge difference. I have a lot of TMJ, so like a lot. Yeah, so I might actually create a video tomorrow and post it on my YouTube about just that sort of that same lymph node kind of massage release. I try to rub essential oil or like a CBD salve into it every day, but I often forget. So, but I need to do it more.
Yeah, it just gets you out of nowhere. Like you go to take a bite of an apple and you open your mouth too wide, and all of a sudden you're like, it feels like somebody just punched you in the neck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. It's no fun. Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, not awesome, but awesome that we'll be have time to focus on working that out, right?
Right.
Oh, well, you said apple. I'm starving, so I hope you get to eat your dinner. I know you went and picked it up and then hopped right on the call, so thank you for doing that.
No, it's no problem. I'm gonna go try and do that, and my dog's like howling in the background. So, but thanks.
You're welcome. See you next time. Oh, oh. Bye.